Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. All right, today's topic is why black women should stop feeling guilty about choosing themselves. Why black women should stop feeling guilty for choosing themselves. Now, to get us started, I did pull a short video. Let's watch this video, and then we have a letter. We're going to read this letter and dive right into this topic. Why black women should stop feeling guilty for choosing themselves. Here we go.
The worst thing you can do is explain why you're protecting your peace to the same people disturbing it. The peace you have now was earned. At this stage in your life, peace is not optional. It's sacred. That means stepping away from the chaos, saying no without guilt, and choosing rest over performance. Now, some people won't understand your boundaries, but that's not your job to fix. The more peace you cultivate, the less tolerance you have for anything that disrupts it. You don't need a long explanation. Your well-being is reason enough.
I grew up in a deeply religious family, and for as long as I can remember, my mother has tied a woman's worth to marriage. Because I'm not married yet, she often makes me feel as if I have no value. What she doesn't understand is that I made a conscious decision to build my career first and create stability for myself before inviting someone else into my life. This is, wow, powerful, powerful. My mother believes that women should marry in their 20s, before they have nothing, before they find their footing, before they build a life of their own. Well, I can tell you why she feels like that. Because she knows once you build a life for yourself, you're not going to be so easy to be somebody else's slave. So you're not going to submit to him. You're gonna face him eye to eye. Okay, so that's why, before they wanted to keep women dumb, barefoot and dumb, you see, so that you wouldn't challenge the man. She thinks marriage is something you rush into when you're young. Well, she was brought up like that, struggling and barely making ends meet. Yeah, right, when you're just starting out, that's how everybody is. But that doesn't reflect today's reality, especially for black women. Well, some. It reflects it for some. And mostly these women are who fall into the category of trying to hook up. Not the marriage part, but they'll hook up and have a baby in their 20s. As soon as they can have a baby, they'll have a baby. And usually these are women who live in negative environments, where there's neglect and abuse. I believe that many of them allow themselves to get pregnant as an escape. They want to have something that they can cling on to and to have a baby. I think some of them probably look at it like that. Okay, let's go on. Many black women who work hard to build solid careers, emotional strength, and financial freedom simply cannot afford to partner with someone who brings chaos, instability, or far less to the table. So why is it happening? You say many black women who work hard cannot afford it, so why are they doing it? You can look anywhere and see successful black women who have been taken by these guys who obviously had less in the beginning. But they come in, and by the time that they finish with these women, they walk out with big bags and suitcases of money, leaving the women broke. It's happening, and black women. It's happening to black women. Because, these successful black women, no matter how successful they are, they still have childhood wounds. So they're still struggling with needing validation, needing attention. You know, even if they're on stage and getting attention, it's not the same as getting that attention that they didn't get from their dad. Okay, it's not the same. And when a man comes in and he's pretending to fulfill that void in her, because many of these women that fall into the category, the dad either wasn't present physically or he wasn't present emotionally. So she feels a void in that area where the man ought to be, to comfort her, to make her feel safe and all that. And too many successful black women are choosing these dudes. Of course, they don't realize it in the beginning. They just see a fine brother just popping up wherever they are. So they figure that he fits in. He can afford to fit in when, not necessarily. Okay? And that's why a lot of them get taken. I spent years investing in myself, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, so that when I do choose marriage, it would be healthy, intentional, and aligned. You hope. You can only speak for you. You can't really speak for him. Not yet. Until you meet him, you see that if he fits in, and if he doesn't, you have to let him go. You see? But it takes time. That's the key. It takes time. And if you take your time with a new partner, I mean a long time, not just a month or two, and no. And if he's trying to rush you, that's a red flag. Take your time to get to know them. And I always say, if you start off as friends, you'll get to know them a whole lot better than if you start off as lovers. When you get into the lover category, everything becomes hazy. Everything looks different. It's not real. You're lost in the illusion of infatuation. And you don't want that. You want the real thing. So that's why you got to take your time. Okay? All right. You say, I am perfectly at peace with being single in the meantime. But she treats being single as if it's the worst fate a woman can face. Well, with your mother, see, a lot of that may be coming from the religious beliefs. Because a religion has been in family business from the beginning. The religion tell you what kind of sex to have. Religion tell you, who you need to be with, all kind of stuff. Religion, wants to control the family. And that's probably where your mother has gotten that from. You say you are a deeply religious family, but then I'm pretty sure that's where it's coming from. What she's being taught through the religion. My mother subscribes to an outdated belief that a woman's only purpose is to marry and serve a man. Well, that's outdated. That's a joke. And she probably did it with your dad, worked herself to death serving him because of her belief. Okay? That all household burdens and child rearing fall solely on the woman. Well, a lot of men think that too. Not just your mother. There's a lot of men, that's why they marry you. Because they think in this way. And that any neglect or mistreatment from the husband is simply part of marriage. Well, now that sounds like a cultural thing. More than religion. In different cultures, men are allowed to strike their wives. And there was a time, even in this culture, and it wasn't so long ago, because I remember when my grandmother was alive, of course, we lived in the South then, it wasn't uncommon to see a man drag his wife out in the front yard and beat her in front of everybody. So it wasn't that far away that women were being treated like this publicly. violently. Okay? I can't embrace that mindset. Please don't. Don't. That's way gone, way outdated. I want a partnership built on mutual respect, shared responsibilities, and genuine love, not survival, sacrifice, and suffering. Well, Well then, hopefully you'll meet someone on your level that thinks the way that you think. And you can have it. All you just put that intention out into the universe like you did here, and just continue to focus on what you want, and it will come to you. But I do want to caution you about, what did you tell me how old you were? You must have been a little over the age that you, because your mom said that women should marry in their 20s, so you must be a little bit older than that since you focused on your career and all of that. But don't rush to marriage. Okay? Because you're a career woman. I'm just going to put this note out there. You know, you already know what you can do. I'm just going to put this little bug in your ear. You don't need to be married to have a family. Okay? In our minds, we think that we have to marry him to raise a kid. You got to be the two. Well, it's grand. I mean, that's the perfect combination if you got a good man. But if your man is trash, why would you want that man training your kid to be just like him? Okay? And a lot of times this happens because women rush to the altar. They get married. And then you find out who you got. It's too late then. You need to take your time and find out beforehand. But I hope that I answer your question here. Your mom, your mom is your mom, and she's practicing what she has believed all her life. And she's trying to pass on the belief to you. But you have a mind of your own, which is a good thing. And you live your life the way that you deem best. Can't care what other people think or say about your life. This is your life. You make it what you want it to be, and whatever makes you happy. I hope you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. I want to thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those of you who donated to help my adopted family. I will be presenting the donation to the family this week, and I'll give you the update as soon as I do. So keep watching, and I will tell you how it all went and how the family received it and all of that. And if any of you are curious about how much money we did raise, send me an email. I'll be happy to share that information with you. But give it a couple of days. I want to present the money first, and then I'll start answering any questions that you have about it. I appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best and happiness, and I really hope to see you next time.